Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of State of Quake. As always, I'm Slip.
And I'm Unkind. Thanks for joining us. Now sit back and let's see where this Slipgate takes us.
So, man, it's been a while since our last podcast, and it's mostly my fault, but I'll also blame the holidays. They got the best of me. I've been really busy.
Yeah, it's
How about you,
understandable.
man?
Same, holidays kind of kept me preoccupied, spending time with the family on the weekends when I could. And so
Now that all of that is out of the way, let's talk about some Quake.
Yeah, first I want to do a few shout outs for some people that's helped us out and supported this. First one is to my buddy Jason at work. I'm just doing this because he asked me to, and he doesn't even listen to Quake at all, but he still downloads our podcast every time one comes out. And then the second one I want to do for the Motherload, he here lately has been helping us out with tournament organization, just shouting us out around other Discords as well. So he's definitely taken it upon himself to help us out as much as possible. So we want to give him a big thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the Motherload. Who is the Motherload?
Motherload, he does a Discord called Cathalis Keep. He just started out with a small group of guys, and they've kind of turned into quite a big Discord. I think they're already over 100 members easily, and they do a lot of like pickup games, like whether it be CTF or Duel or whatever. They do a lot of pickup games. So if you're looking for somebody to play with, there's usually always somebody in that Discord that's willing to play with you.
Yeah, they got a lot of activity happening there. So if you think Quake Champions is dead, or whatever game that you want to play, because I know they talk about quote unquote lesser games inside of their Discord, you should definitely check them out.
And then the last guy I want to give a shout out to for now, there's many other people too, but that comes to mind is Plague TV. He's been co-casting on some of our events with us, and definitely giving us support on his Twitch channel as well. So if you guys will give him a like, and also give him a like on Twitter, follow him on Twitch, follow him on his Discord, anywhere, we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think he's been killing it. He just recently started casting for the Quake Open League for a couple of months in a row. I know that, but he's got quality content. He's got good memes. He's a good guy overall. So please show him some love.
Yeah, and also keep out for his Shub Cup event. I think it's going to be like a gold and below dual bracket, which is something that we're talking about doing too, but we'll get further into that. So keep a lookout for that and sign up. We're going to have a lot more events coming up. Quake's not dead, because we're going to make it not dead.
We're going to keep it alive. You got to put that content out there for people. And it's not about the doom and gloom people who like to troll on Reddit and the forums, because those are the people who obviously are not playing the game. Everybody else who's playing the game and having a good time are busy doing that. They don't have time to complain on forums and stuff like that.
That is true. And this we didn't put this in our episode outline, but I kind of want to say this is our episode 9, and we're not titling this called State of Quake Future Plans, because in this podcast we're going to kind of go over what our plans of the future are, and we're going to discuss some current happenings in Quake. But the reason why I say this, because we still have big episodes planned for this podcast. Got a lot of special guests lined up. We're like one of the only podcasts out here doing this, so why not?
Yeah, I can't wait to have some of the people. I don't want to give anyone away, but can't wait to see how they interact with us on the podcast.
And another this is kind of a future thing / current thing, because when I typed this up, it didn't happen yet. But we're doing our first Scalebearer statue giveaway. I bought 2 of them giveaway, so we're doing one now. Right now we have a link in our Twitch that pops up if you're watching us. We have one on our Twitter, and I did post one in our Discord. So I think, I guess we probably should put one in this podcast, right, when we get it done.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description for the podcast, or wherever we post it. There will be a link for the Scalebearer giveaway statue?
Well, basically, the way I said it's kind of basic. 'Cause I didn't really know the finer points of the website. So basically, you get 10 points or 10 tickets, either way, however you want to say it, for following us on Twitter.
Entries.
Entries. There you go. You get 10 entries. You get 10. Let's see, Twitter. You get another 10 for following us on Twitch. If you subscribe to us on YouTube, you get another 10. And then if you subscribe to Twitch, I think tier 1's 250. I think tier 2's 500. I think it goes to 1,000 for tier 3. I think that's how it works. So bear with us. That's kind of minimal as far as other giveaways, but like I said, this is our first one, so I really didn't know how to work everything. I just kind of made it pretty basic.
Yeah, so if you want that Scalebearer statue, I know you have one of them. Actually, I have one as well. I haven't even opened it yet. But yeah, that Champions pack and that Oni skin, please enter the giveaway. We want to give back to all the folks who've been supporting us for the past few months, and it's a perfect opportunity to do so.
Speaking of supporting us, we've been doing our Saturday night events lately, and nice turnout. I mean, I think the last time we had an event, not this past one yesterday, but the one before that, the dual bracket, I think we topped around like 50 some viewers, and we kind of maintained at least over 30 viewers after that. So that was fantastic. Great
turnout, nice support, lots of people active in the chat, and the people who actually are participating in the events, lots of big names are coming out to compete too.
Oh, well, Genic has won except for yesterday. He didn't participate yesterday, but before that, he's won 3 events in a row. So I'm hoping that he keeps coming out, and then I'm hoping we also get more higher caliber players for him to be challenged by. I know he's wanting Rafa. We did when we did that post-match interview and then in the dual bracket, he's wanting some Rafa. So Rafa, if you ever do listen to us, you need to
come take this man out.
Okay, come show him. Come show him how it's done.
Yeah, I think he mentioned a few other names that he could, who could probably hang with him. So Sib, we're talking to you, Dramis, Shane. I know you guys are out there.
Just do it.
Come take this man out.
Just sign up. Just do it. So, and I know some people are getting confused on our events because I've tried to explain it. Some people just still get confused by it. It's like every Saturday, it's not a set event. It's not always Koth or King of the Hill. It's not always a dual bracket. It's just going to be like, we want to do like a calendar. One Saturday is Koth. One Saturday is bracket. One Saturday is 2v2. Next Saturday is like a free event. And then it just repeats in that order. But at the same time, Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And part of the reason why we're doing that is we're testing things out. We're seeing what works for the people. Not everyone's into duel. Not everyone, is comfortable with a bracket format. There's a lot of factors that go into it. But yeah, as like Slip said, we've done a variety of different events and competitions, and we're hoping to get more definition around that so that people can actually look at a calendar and plan things out. So look out for that.
We actually just discussed this before recording, and give us your thoughts about this. I was thinking about maybe doing a King of the Hill on a different night, like a set, I don't know, Thursday night. Every Thursday's King of the Hill, and that frees up Saturday for like a dual bracket, 2v2 bracket, whatever. I could probably handle that. So if you think that would be a better idea, let us know.
Yeah, either way, I'm just looking forward to it. I think you've been killing it on Twitch, man. I don't know if I've told you personally. I'm saying it again. I think you're doing a great job. We're building the Twitch channel quite a bit. It's grown immensely since we first started. So kudos to you, man. Good job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to try to continue to do that. And I know that some people want incentives when they come to play events, and all our events are not going to always have prizes, but we are going to start looking into like prizes for winners. So if you do sub to us, if you donate to us, like that, that's where the money's going to go. It's going back into the stream, whether it be just for better quality equipment, whether it be for prizes, whatever. That's where that's going to. So we appreciate you guys for supporting us.
Yeah, because as of right now, we have this imaginary wall of winners that I started, but I have not finished. I just want to do something basic so that we can keep track of everything. But at the same time, we're still working on our brand, and I want to incorporate whatever that new brand looks like into this wall of winners. So I don't know, stay tuned for something that's a placeholder, something that's temporary, sort of like, our current logo. It's getting us to where we currently are. And, we're really not having to worry about that. But eventually we're going to have a brand new logo, a brand new, color scheme, a brand, everything that goes across all the channels, including a Hall of Fame or a Wall of Fame, whatever you want to call it, to highlight all the people who've won our past events.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point we have several different T-shirts, which is with words that we could probably sell and people would buy. Like we got SHIOT, people would buy that.
Let's talk a little bit about SHIOT.
Oh yeah, SHIOT. So I don't know if you guys have seen that emote for Tier 2 subscribers, but that came about during a 40s den where some certain guy trying to hunt me down. I was like, nah, I gotta put a stop to that. Good well-placed rocket behind him sends him flying off the map on Awoken.
And then I tried to type shit, but I typed it too fast. I got fat fingers. And I said SHIOT. And I do that a lot, actually. Like when I'm reacting to something, in a duel or a match or something like that, I tend to do a lot of typos. But Rafa happened to be co-casting with 40 Lions that night. And his reaction to it was just priceless. Like he said, SHIOT. And they just started going off. And I'm like, in my head, when I watched it back, the VOD, I'm like, that has to be a meme. Like he birthed a meme. So I forced it. I created an icon for it, and we've been using it ever since. So
Rafa just said we need to make SHIOT a thing, so that's what we did.
So we made a thing. We made it a thing.
And then last night during the event, I took a little poll of T-shirts saying "PNAF is love, PNAF is life," and had a lot of supporters for that. So I mean, be on the lookout for that T-shirt when we get that phase going.
We all know how much Slip loves the PNAF.
Everybody does, man. That's just the way it is.
The map has grown on me. It's not played very often, so like I appreciate when it does come up, and I know like every single time that we duel, that's gonna be in the rotation for sure.
Oh yeah,
it's a good map.
We talked about it in chat there, and people, finally admitted that for a dual map, it is good, but they don't understand why it's thrown into the TDM rotation. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that. It's like the perfect size for a dual, I think, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it does not make any sense to be put inside of like any of the other modes.
We even talked about a CTF PNAF, vertical capture the flag.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Everybody just uses Athena.
They need some kind of a change with Capture the Flag. Everybody's using Sorlag and Anarchy and Slash to do speed runs. So, yeah, maybe a vertical map is what we need to change things up.
It'd be interesting to see, but it'd probably be something the size of Molten Falls if we ever see a vertical type CTF map. It'd be more that size, I think.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of new logo designs and things like that, I know I think we've talked about it in other podcasts too. We talked about a website, kind of a centralized location for all of this stuff, because I know it's kind of hard to let's tweet it out, let's do it through Discords, and then everybody being on the same page of what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to have one central location to point everything to, and yeah, things can and will get out of hand once we have all of these channels and socials and podcasts and everything. All the content that goes into everything needs one central place to live, and we need to get the website done, and we will.
It's coming soon, folks.
Soon.
Takes time. I feel like with the calendar, like what we just talked about, that would be the perfect place for a calendar. You can just click on events, and then you know what's coming up, that particular week. So, man, we need it ASAP.
There's so many things that are on our plate, folks, that like we actually had to start a Trello board, like where, you track the things that you want to do, the things that you are doing, and the things that are done. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into all of this. So we we both have full-time jobs, we both have families and significant others and kids, and yeah, it's a lot to fit in, but we're doing it. We love the game, we love the community, and we want to put this stuff out there. We got to keep ourselves organized as well. And speaking of like other things that we want to add to the list, what else we have planned?
Well, I was going to say, for one thing, I never even heard that website about organization, so I was like, okay, what is this and how does it work?
I felt like things were getting out of control, and usually when that happens, like in my line of work, we use some sort of productivity tool that's similar to that, and as a bare minimum, that's what, beyond a to-do list, like that's what we use to keep track of things. So that's what it's meant for. And yeah, welcome to Trello.
Well, I'm glad we have it so we can keep track of what we need to do and what's happening. So speaking of, one thing that's on the board is a live podcast. I know we've talked about it before. We've actually even had a few requests from people when they watch our Twitch, and they're like, well, when are you going to do a live podcast? Or, are you going to ever do one? And we plan.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You've been streaming on Twitch. I think we just have to work out the technical kinks and, make sure you can see both of us and all the audio is synced, and figure out like, what else we can do during it. It's a different format. So we got to think through a few things.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, most of it's just going to be the technical part of how to get OBS to pick us both up at the same time and everything. And then we'll have to think about how to get the audience involved, but not too involved to where we're getting totally sidetracked and it turns into this huge long ordeal, which I assume our live podcast might run a little longer. Don't know yet. We haven't really talked about it much, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing it. And we will save the audio for the people who listen to us on their way to work or on their way home from work. And so we will still upload it like a normal podcast.
Yeah, it definitely won't replace this podcast, the one that you have grown to love over the past few months. It'll probably be like a special thing that we do once in a while.
Yeah, and for that we'll definitely announce it. I don't know if we'll do it a month in advance, but we'll definitely try to give it anywhere from a week to 2 week advance. Like, hey, live podcast on this date. Make sure to join us. That way, you have enough time to do whatever you need to do so you can watch us, which is important.
Yeah, that would be awkward if we did a live podcast and there was like 3 people in there.
Yeah, that would be weird.
we gotta make sure that the audience is filled and they're engaging with us and we're able to actually talk about things live with them and have a conversation. I think it's a unique concept and it'll be fun.
Well, I think that goes into our State of Quake part of this podcast, where we kind of talked about what's been going on with Quake since we've last talked, which I know it's been a while since our last podcast, so I'm trying to remember all the things that's happened since then. I think the Battle Pass has happened, and did we talk about on the last podcast?
No, we did not talk about the Battle Pass. We said that it was incoming. I think it was in PTS the last time we released a podcast, so it's definitely worth giving our thoughts on. And I know there's a lot that has happened since the Battle Pass came out. I know, like, let's just start off with a few of the pain points that people went through. So they got rid of backpacks and chests and converted everyone's favor and shards into backpacks and chests. So they also reset everyone's level. Everyone logged in and they basically had like hundreds and hundreds of backpacks to open. So I know I didn't really mind it too much because, I like doing repetitive tasks, but there were a lot of people who complained about having to click through and open all of their backpacks to receive the items and get the single shards, the new shards that are in the system. What were some of the things that were going through your mind when that happened?
I really didn't mind all that much. It's like I said, just you got quick hands like I do. You could get through it and no problem. One thing I didn't like though was where you went to the progression screen and you had to go through it and collect every single piece one by one.
You wanted to claim, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, is there a quicker way for I can just claim everything to the end? And if I don't already have it, just tell me how many shards it's going to cost at the end, and if I have them, I'll use them. If I don't, then whatever,
I feel like we're in a unique situation because we've been playing the game for a long time. So I also have a Smurf account that doesn't have as much progress as my main account, and it actually wasn't that big of a deal on that account because it's pretty much a fresh account that didn't have, many backpacks or shards to begin with, and it's already lower level, and I still need to unlock that stuff. So it sort of felt natural on that account, but like on my main account where I had pretty much everything unlocked, and I do now have everything unlocked. There's absolutely nothing for me to to work for inside the game besides the new content inside the battle pass. So yeah, I don't know. I think you got to look at it from a different perspective, and I think a lot of people that's what they didn't do, and there's still people who are logging in for the first time and they haven't played in a couple of months. They're like, what is going on? Like, they don't even have any indication of like what happened. There's no news when you log in anymore that really indicates like what happened. So I feel like they could have done a little bit better with the communication of that, especially for players who might be returning after, a significant amount of time.
Well, I mean, the new system's fine with me, overall. I mean, I know they needed to do something a little different to try to help generate more revenue for the game. Like, it doesn't really bother me overall. I do think sometimes the way they implement things aren't the best, but it's oversight. It's just a little bit of oversight, cut them some slack, it's not going to be the end of days,
So did you actually buy the battle pass?
Yeah, I bought it.
Okay. And I guess another thing that is worth talking about, specifically about the battle pass and the progression system, is there were a few, math whizzes out there who, like, they pretty much said it is nearly impossible with the current, rate of earning XP to actually hit that 100 mark. And, I think there were some concerns in the community, and I believe the developers, or Bethesda, whoever you want to call them or consider them, they've actually sort of addressed that in a few different ways. The first way was on the weekends, you earn double the XP. And they've been tweaking this, ever since they mentioned this. And you basically will earn, double the XP from Friday until Sunday. And that definitely has helped a lot. And I think another thing that they've done is they're adjusting the way that you actually earn that XP, because there's currently a problem right now, and I'm not sure if it's fixed, but there are people out there who are using macros and scripts to basically farm XP all day long, 24 hours a day. So like, there were people out there who reached level 100, and it's just crazy that we even have to do things like that to, like, I don't know, to achieve the end goal of that level 100 and unlock all of that stuff. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, if I don't pick up the pace, I'm going to probably not reach a level 100 but by the time this season ends. So I'm going to try to start, focusing on that a little more, maybe do some little more grinding so I can get everything. As of right now, I think I'm only in the level, I think I'm in the 30s, 30 something.
So let me give you a tip, because they added another thing, and everybody out there. So if you combine the haste potion, which is an XP bonus, if you play on the weekends and you're actually playing game modes where you get a lot of kills. So let's just say you're really good at Instagib. You can queue for Instagib. It's got a 50 frag limit. And if you're confident that you could hit that frag limit, and it's usually like less than 10 minutes, that's a really good way to earn a ton of XP. So for example, today I did that, and this is without completing any weekly challenges or any of the other challenges. I got 25,000 XP after one match for that. And there are a couple of exploits that are out there right now. I don't want to call it out. You can look it up on Reddit. I don't want to give any attention to it, but there are other ways, if you are creative. As of recording this podcast, you can do some other similar things that are, I would say, not very very, very genuine or honest, and you could basically farm XP that way. But basically, you're able to get roughly 500 XP for every frag that you get on the weekends with the XP bonus. So get on it, Slip.
Yeah, I'll definitely start getting on it. I mean, weekends is kind of hard for me with the events and stuff, but I'll definitely get it done. But
yeah, this morning I grinded for a bit. I'm sad to say, not sad to say, but I'm sorry to say that I grinded for like 2-3 hours this morning, and I jumped 20 levels. I'm already in like the 70s, so got a lot of catching up to do.
Well, another big thing that people have been talking about since all these updates has been going on is CTF. And
yeah, you know how excited I was about it. I still am, but
good game mode. Yeah. It's a good game mode in a lot of games. And but one thing I noticed people have been talking about a lot is the Anarchy Sorlag mix. A lot of people are not happy.
Yeah, they got to do something about the fast champions in general, and they got to get creative too, because it's tough with a game that's ability based, and everyone has unique characteristics. There's been a few good ideas out there on how to deal with them.
One big thing I could say, the easiest thing that I could think of, if they can target those specific champions only, is if Sorlag and Anarchy pick up the flag, kind of slow them down a bit. Not saying totally nerf them to where they can't move at all. I'm just saying reduce a speed cap on them, or maybe their acceleration is not quite as much when they pick the flag up and they're carrying it, because they're the only two champs I've heard that people are complaining about as of right now. It could be more out there, but that's the two biggest ones I hear all the time.
That is a good idea. I think if they do something like that, it needs to be across the board. I think that someone coined it the term flag drag. So basically, if you do have the flag, there is some sort of a weight that's assigned to it. Like enough weight so that you're not able to fly around as they currently are. And yeah, another thing that's like adding to it is just the way that CPMA in general is working inside the game. So if you shoot somebody who has CPMA movement, that basically just multiplies their speed even more. So if you got a machine gun on them, if you rail them, like you're just gonna boost them. So like you got to rethink how you're defending your flag and how you're attacking the flag carrier. And this is mostly like an issue in the public games. So like in organized games, people who actually know how to play CTF, this isn't as much of a problem. But like it's out of control right now on the public side.
And well, the other big complaint is lack of symmetrical maps.
Yep,
that is huge, because even someone played a video, I think it was Plague on his stream. He played a video of Tim Willett's. I think it's like from 2006 or 2008 or something like that, way before Quake Champions. And because he's a map designer, for Quake 3. And he said the number one thing you got to think about with capture the flag maps is symmetry. Like, okay, this man knows. He knows it takes symmetry, but yet you only have one symmetrical map. And even with, if you want to say, oh, well, CTF just now came out. Well, even look at Sacrifice. That was basically CTF and kind of like capture and defend, kind of, like a mix.
Mm-hmm.
Not symmetrical. I mean, so get on it, Quake. You guys, if you want CTF to take off, we need like at least 3 to 4 maps for CTF now. Don't do one map. Wait 2 or 3 months to do another map. You need to release like a little map pack at one time.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like, I was super excited to play CTF. I love Citadel. Citadel is a great map, but I don't know. It's just not fun to play publicly. Like, you got to organize an actual like scrimmage with people who know how to play, who are communicating, and a couple of the maps are okay, but it's just weird. And where it really gets weird is like, I don't know, this just gets magnified even more on the public servers, or public matches, whatever you want to call them. So like, let's just say you're on Blood Covenant and you're playing CTF, and one team is stomping the other team. The score is like 10-0 at the end of the halftime, and there's a bunch of people who say GG after it. Like they think it's done after that. So like the concept of a halftime, it just doesn't like compute with like a newer player in general.
Well,
and then let's just go ahead.
I was gonna say it should be more defined, but also do a cap limit, man. I mean, if you go, I'll say if you get more than 6 or 7 scores in a row and they're unanswered at 0, you need to go and go to halftime and swap sides and see if that can help even things out. And if not, if it continues up to 10 or 12 caps and 0, mercy rule and cut the game off. A lot of people
or shuffle the teams up, so do something like, because it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, I think people had CTF built up in their mind a certain way, but when they play it on pubs, it's like, okay, yeah, this is not how I envision this. So, like you said, if you can have a group of people together that all know each other and just play and have fun, it's a better game mode. But as for pubs, I don't see this game mode lasting in pubs. It's going to be just among friends, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's just so weird because like I played Quake 3 Capture the Flag on pubs, and I had the time of my life. Like, if there was a way to capture that formula in a bottle and put it inside a Quake Champions, like exactly, they need to do that. Because that's the game mode that I fell in love with, and it's currently not there. I haven't given up on it in Quake Champions. I definitely want to play it competitively, but I want to see it like have that same spark as it did on the public servers as it did back then.
Well, we just listed the 2 problems of why that'll never happen. One, abilities and CPA movement. Yeah, you're not gonna have that and have fun in pubs, in my opinion. And then 2, maps. With one map,
there were a ton of maps.
Yeah. There was like unlimited. It seemed like there was an unlimited amount of CTF maps because people had access to the source code and could make their own map. So you really had unlimited possibilities, which I know we didn't really just cover this in our outline. I almost feel like Quake needs to just start thinking about handing over the source code to some of these mappers out here and let them have at it. I mean, I know they're having.
There's a huge community out there that specifically like they're passionate about making maps. Like even if they're just like boxed out, like I mean, you don't even have to look at the community right now. Like if they were to just take the current Quake Live map pool right now and take those, do whatever you got to do to port them. I don't know how much how much time and resources it would take to get a basic version of that map inside of Quake Champions, but like you would have to imagine that like the geometry, like it's already there. You got to figure out the textures and all that stuff, but that's probably it. Yeah, the layouts are there. I think it's mostly a sync error thing. Like he loves his lore and putting all the attention to detail and inside of the beauty of the game, and it shows 100%. So I don't know. I hope they get maps in general out there for CTF.
And the funny thing is, a lot of these mappers out here would do it for free just to have their name associated with the game. And it's like, oh yeah, I made that map for Quake Champions. That's all the recognition they would want.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them would just do it for free. So guys, it's just a thought. I know you're working with a small team right now. So start looking at, community created content. I know it's something that Bethesda might not want to do, but if you can finagle it a little bit, let's give it a try. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, there was one other thing that I wanted to touch on for CTF that felt kind of awkward. So if at the end of both halves you end in a tie score, there's no overtime. That happened to me a couple of times, and like it is so cheesy at the end, like to determine the winner. Like there's basically like this, like 2 bars that fill up, and the bars are representative of basically like who gets the most XP. So like basically who earns the most medals and who has the most kills and all of that stuff across the team. And it's a percentage based system. And so whoever has the higher percentage, like that team wins the game. No, that's not how it works, man. You got to let these teams duke it out. Especially like if you could imagine that last cap to tie the game, at whatever the score was, it's so anticlimactic to end the game like that. And professional capture the flag players are gonna be pissed and livid if that was how matches were determined. So that was the last thing I wanted to add.
I would say hopefully they will change that, but hey, that's why you have somebody like me on the team that's also doing killing while he's capturing the flag to get up all that XP points, so you know you're going to win if you end in a tie. Because usually at the end of the game, I do capture and I do defend as well. A lot of times when I play CTF, I'm at the top of the board because I'm also killing the shit out of people as I'm doing this. It always helps.
Yeah. They also need to incorporate like actual capture the flag statistics into the scoreboard. Like there's absolutely no way to tell who is good on offense, who is good on defense, all those things. So I hope they get it together over the course of the next few months.
Well, speaking of getting things together, they did a performance hot fix recently to try to help everybody's frame rate, because a lot of people have been complaining about stutter and frame rates. So
it hit a lot of people really bad.
So for me personally, this is my experience. Before this patch, my frame rates were shit, especially if I was streaming. Like it was just to the point to where I didn't want to play the game sometimes because I would get to a firefight and my frame would go from like 120, 130 down to 70 or 80, and it would make it feel weird. I would lose fights I shouldn't be losing because of it. And that mostly happened when I streamed, and then, well, and it did happen off stream too. And then when they did this patch, my frames are staying solid now, like 130, 140, and they stay there. But when I'm streaming, for some weird reason, the game it's really jerky. Like it's like someone's just jerking me back and forth, and I lost a ranked duel because of it. I was put on Awoken and go through the teleporter, and it just jerks me to the left, and I'm off the map, and I die. And
yeah. Same thing happens to me. That's why I refuse to do anything competitive while I'm streaming.
So it really irritated me, and so now I've dropped some money on a new processor. It was kind of pretty much a whole new rig, actually. And I'm hoping with this updated processor and maybe tweaking some stream settings, I should be able to stream and game on one PC. I know most people don't do that. Well, more high-end streamers don't do that, but I'm going to try to keep it on one PC if I can.
Yeah, I really hope it does fix the problems, because you are carrying the load when it comes to streaming, and we don't want an angry slip while he's streaming.
That night I was livid. I was pissed because I was like, this guy would be dominated right now if I could strafe jump properly, and the game did not screw me over and push me off the map, so I lost that champion. This guy would have been toast. I ended up losing because of this whole jerkiness, so I gotta fix that. I can't have that going on.
So you're looking to have a new PC built in the next couple of weeks or so?
The parts will be here probably sometime this week, but it's not a computer case. A lot of people call them test benches or open-aired cases. It's pretty much just a piece of metal that you mount everything to. The one I'm getting is coming from China because no one really makes these open-air cases like I want. It also helps with traveling, like if I go to QuakeCon or whatever. But anyway, it's coming from China. I got on eBay because they would have it here maybe by the end of January or early February. So yeah, probably next couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, hopefully it makes it here, because sometimes that stuff can get like caught in customs and all sorts of mess.
Oh, it better. So be on the lookout for that. If you see my stream getting more quality, it's because of that.
So what else happened with the hotfix? Was there, for me personally, it didn't, I didn't notice much. Performance has always been, a solid 144 frames per second on my machine. I don't even have like a really high end machine. I just really haven't had any issues as far as performance goes. I do have some network issues here and there, like where, I don't know, it depends on who I'm playing, but I'll notice it that like it just doesn't feel right. And certain times I actually have control to say, hey, we gotta try a different server out, or I gotta fix something or whatever. But whenever that happens, when I'm doing like a ranked duel, I had a day like that yesterday, actually. I lost 200 SR over the course of the day because the netcode was just horrible for me. And I wish I could pin it down, but I have absolutely no idea where to begin on how to fix that.
Yeah, and a lot of that things on their side, because, a lot of people talk about, they ping good to Dallas server, but yet for some odd reason, that server just runs like shit for some people. So I kind of want to say most of that's on their end. So, because I know a lot of people have been complaining about server issues. It's their netcode. So because of that, I don't think there's really much we can do. In order to know it's my processor, because my processor is just it's not like a dual core or quad core. It's a 6-core processor, so but it's just not very optimized. It's like a 5820K. I'm going to the 2700X AMD, which from my research is like they're top of the line right now. Besides like the Threadrippers, which are like $1,000, so I'm not paying that much.
Yeah, if you still have issues after that, because I've got an AMD processor, and my processor is not the top of the line one. It's probably like the mid level one, and it's probably even like not the newer generation. If you still have issues after that, then something's messed up, because you have a better graphics. You would have a better graphics card than me. You would have a better processor, probably the same amount of RAM.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I may go overkill and go ahead and just get 32 gigs of RAM in there, but as of right now, I'm just going to run 16. Just 2 8-gig sticks for now. I think 16 should be well more than enough for any game out there.
Yeah, and you got a 240 hertz monitor too, don't you?
Yep.
So yeah, you need to get like the higher frame rates. Your goal isn't to get a stable 144. Your goal is to actually get a stable 250.
Yeah, I mean, at least 200. And I know there's people on there that do it, because people talk about all the time in the forum that they have a stable 200 or stable 220 through 30, 240, whatever, 200 plus. Yeah. So that's my goal right now, is to get into that 200 frames per second mark, and it stays steady that way.
Well, good luck, man. May the force be with you.
May the force be with this damn processor I just bought. So we'll see. We'll see. And so yeah, another big change that came, and I think this is just because of the demand on the community stream. 2v2 is back.
I think it's not only on the community stream, but it's just in general, like Reddit. Every single day, people were posting like, "You took 2v2 away, I quit." Like basically that. Like I had no idea 2v2 ranked was so popular, to be honest with you.
I mean, same here. I mean, I knew people play it, but I didn't know it was that widespread. I think it seems like it's a lot of Europeans that play it, which I know Europeans do make a big chunk of our community as well. I know a lot of people were having like 2v2 tournaments already set up for like this year, and they took it out. And I know that's one of the big reasons why people were so pissed off, because like, hey, we've set this up already, and then you take the game mode out.
Yeah. Well, it's back, so they have they got nothing to complain about now. What was weird about it was like the communication from Mortal Emperor, not only on Reddit, not only on the forums, wherever he had a touch point to try to address it. He basically said like there are no plans to bring back 2v2 in this current season, which is probably gonna be the end of March or beginning of March, something around that area. Mm-hmm. And last week on Friday, we had a community stream. They said they would be pretty light on news in general.
I will add this too. It's about time, because that was one thing they did not need to take away. I know it's a holiday and everything, but you need to try to do something like that. People were very upset that they stopped and there was no news. And I didn't watch the whole thing, but I heard that they kind of got reamed a little bit because of the lack of streams.
Lack of streams, lack of communication. I know it was the holidays. There really isn't, much of an excuse, especially when you have a live game and people are expecting news and things are seeming kind of dire, at least, with the people who are out there who are outspoken. But yeah, like they said that they wouldn't be adding 2v2, and his official response on the stream was the same. He said, we unfortunately we would have to make a new build to push that out there. And lo and behold, like literally like an hour or two after the community stream, he's like, we waved our magic wand, and guess what? 2v2 is back in. No build needed. So I'm glad they were able to get that in, because
it kind of makes it odd though. Is like, was it just saying that to like, because they really they didn't want to put 2v2 back in yet, and so once everybody was like, we want it now, we want it now, we want it now, they just had to say, okay, well, we got to push forward. Like, I don't know, was it a troll basically? Was they trolling us? Or
I don't think it was a troll. It might have been just like his lack of really understanding, what it would take to put it back in. And he probably didn't have like an official response. Obviously, like anything that he says that is communicated back to the community probably has to be approved, and that's probably one of the default responses and the things that he was told at that point. But the community spoke, and they said they put their foot down and basically demanded it, and whatever magic wand that they had to wave to get it back in, they got it back in.
It's probably not really a magic wand. It's probably just a check box. You click, it's like click. Okay, it's there.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, one guy, I saw one guy's comment said, you guys can rotate out arcade modes every week, but yet you can't add 2v2 back. Which that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I don't know if we mentioned in our last podcast or not, but that's one thing they can just get rid of in Quake, and I would not care. Get rid of the arcade modes, and that would not bother me one bit. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that popular, in my opinion.
Yeah, they aren't that popular. Some of them. I think the point of the arcade modes is to see which ones people actually like the most and make those part of like the normal game rotation. And that's sort of like how Unholy Trinity came about. So it graduated from did it or did it not? At one point I could have
it's well, the one they added is not the one I wanted. I wanted the Unholy TDM version, because I think the death match is too chaotic in that game mode. I like the TDM version of it, so I wish they had that. You can do customs, which kind of leads me to what I was going to say is, well, just hurry up and do that whole UI thing that they talked about several streams ago, where they said eventually you'll get to go through here and check box make checks on everything you want and what you don't want in this game mode.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just hurry up and do that, and then we can do our own custom arcade modes when we want to, versus put them in pubs.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. When we get to have 100% control over the exact game that we want to play inside of customs, it's going to be a good time.
Oh, I will be altering the deals quite a bit. I have full control. And, well, speaking of stream, since we're on the topic of the stream, the one big thing everybody wanted to hear, but we didn't hear it, was as of right now, we have no tournament dates. We have no idea what's going to happen, and I know a lot of people were upset.
Yeah, and there's sort of shows right now in like this the content that is out there right now in the community in general. Like, you're not seeing your favorite streamers streaming Quake Champions right now. There's a lot of people, for whatever reason. I'm not sure what everyone's specific reasons are, but some people might just be busy after the holidays. Some people might be taking a break. Some people might, be boycotting or just lost interest. I don't know. I'm here. I'm here to support Quake Champions. I'm not going anywhere. I know Slip isn't going anywhere. We're still putting out content. So, yeah, I think the lack of tournaments is definitely having a big effect on like just what you're seeing in general. The player count, the people who are streaming, the games that are streaming. There's less events out there for us to play inside of the community. Not just like major tournaments. I'm talking about the minor stuff that just happens throughout the week.
Yeah, that's why we'll go back to early in our podcast when we talk about our events. We're trying to do as much as we can, because we do see kind of a, I guess, off season, as some people are putting it. So we're trying to do as much as we can to keep people interested in playing and be more active in the community.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it. I was a pretty active participant in the Quake Open League, and like there hasn't been any announcements. That was a monthly thing that you could pretty much count on to participate in, to keep you active in the community and keep your skills up and have a reason to actually play. And nothing has been announced. And officially, I know that you said that you've heard that they're trying to get their budgets in order to support that, because id and Bethesda, they actually sponsor Quake Open League and are able to provide the generous prizes to the winners and the participants of that league or that tournament. So I hope it's coming soon.
And I know we haven't talked about this either, but I want to get the opinion on the audience. I want you to email us this, tweet us this, mention us on Discord. I don't care where. Just get a hold of us. If you want a State of Quake to do a league similar to Quake Open League, we might do a little different. We might change things up a bit, how it's worked. Let us know. I know the league is a popular format, but if we want to do something like this, we're going to have some support for the community. If you want us to maybe push something like that to give another alternative to that format, let us know, because it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, we would need some helping hands, some people to volunteer and help organize, and that's a lot of work. So if there's a demand for it, please raise your hand or point us to someone who you think can actually help put this thing together.
Correct. And it's not we're stepping on anybody's toes, which I think at this point we're not stepping on anybody else's toes for doing anything. We're just trying to do our part to keep the community involved in the game. So as of now, since they're on hiatus, or even when they come back, if people just want another alternative to a league style tournament, we're going to try to do what we can for that need.
Yeah, you can't just like have something that was there, and just because the funding was pulled from it, just have it completely disappear from the community. There's sort of a void that's left there, and if people don't have that thing that they used to go to, they're gonna find something else to do, and it's best to have some a version of that's held up with duct tape and strings, and not the greatest production, an actual event that is functional, than nothing at all, and having them go play a lesser game or something like that.
That's true. So that's one thing. We might need some people who know some good production values for streaming if we want to make this kind of more legit looking at all. So if people willing to volunteer and help us out, teach us how to do things, whatever. I mean, we can research it on our own and try to piece it together, but it's not going to look nearly as good as somebody who already knows what they're doing. So it's up in the air for now. So if you guys want it, like I said, just get a hold of us any way possible. We love to hear feedback from you guys on anything we do, whether it be the podcast, events, whatever.
Yes, please let us know. So the last thing on our list that was also announced on the community stream, and I was a little disappointed when I heard this myself, but I totally get it. The next patch for Quake Champions will not be released until March. So we're not even at the end of January, and January is like one of the longest months of the year, especially here in Chicago. But we got to go through the entire month of February. Who knows how much of March it will actually pass by until we get a patch. But we're not getting another patch until March. The patch that they pushed out at the beginning of January that addressed some of the performance was all we're getting until then, unfortunately. But they did announce and say that, this patch will not have any new content. There's not going to be any new maps, any new champions. They are putting all of their resources towards fixing and optimizing this game. And I think it's great that they're doing that. But at the same time, that's raising the bar for expectations for people. Because if it's not fixed after this, and you're putting all of your time and resources into doing that, you're going to have a mutiny, and there's going to be a bunch of people who they completely drop the game. So I hope they get it right this time.
Yeah, maybe that was probably the biggest announcement of the thing instead of the tournament dates. They're both pretty big, but I'm with you. It's like a double-edged sword. No new content or anything like that. That discourages your current community, people that are playing now, regardless of how the performance is. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And that discourages them, like, oh, well, I'm not getting nothing new. And then, but on the opposite side, people who can't play the game, which is probably why some of the people quit playing it. I mean, between the high skill ceiling and the fact that the game's not very optimized right now, so there's a lot of decent PCs out there that can't play this game without lowering everything to low, and you You still get low frames. If you fix all that issues, you could probably bring a lot of people back, because a lot of people complain the game just doesn't run smooth. So kind of like like I said, double-edged sword. You kind of, either way, you're making somebody mad, I think, in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to put, seeing Hunter inside of the game, some new maps, whatever they had, planned on releasing, for the sake of the community, to, get the people who actually do want to play the game into the game, playing, how I play every single day. Like, 'cause I'm not affected by performance whatsoever. And I know, there's a ton of people out there who they just want to play a game that works and that works well.
Yeah, I'm same here. If it helps the game run top notch, and then more people can get in, it accesses the game to more people that have lower NPCs. If it helps them get to the game to grow our player base, that's even better. So I'm willing to wait. I know that it's not what everybody wanted to hear. I know some people were really upset about it, but you got to continue to support the game no matter what.
Yeah, it is what it is. I hope they know what they're doing, because, like I said, there's going to be a huge fallout, because you know what else is coming right around that time period is that I don't even want to give it any airtime, but that game that starts with a D that everybody keeps on mentioning.
Everybody knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if they want to jump on the gun, they should release like next month, because that's just from that standpoint. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about that game.
Yeah, we don't need another Quake 3 wannabe.
We already have one.
I honestly, I mean, more power to those guys who are developing that game that people are anticipating. You've got a lot of pressure on you for sure. So it does look pretty good. I don't want to give, like, maybe we could spend a little bit of time talking about it in another podcast, but let's save it.
Let's just see if it actually makes it to release before we give it airtime.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. And I guess, with that, do you got any final words? Anything else you wanted to throw into this episode?
Only thing I could go back and reiterate is support us wherever you can, whether it be Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, our Discord, anywhere you can support us. We really appreciate it. Like I said, shout outs to my buddy at work again. So when he's listening to this at work one day, probably tomorrow or Tuesday, whenever we release this, I did it twice. The Mother Load again, Play TV, D-Ron, he definitely also supports us when he can. He gets involved in our podcast when he can. I mean, like I said, there's definitely other people out there that support us and give us all the support they can. So thanks to all you guys, everybody out there.
Yeah, thank you. We truly appreciate it, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you. Simple thank you.
So yeah, with that, everyone, we'll see you in the arena.
Keep on fragging. GG's.
GG's.